was covered with 5 pies worth of used blueberries. The women in the audience screamed. Boss man Bob Cormier took one look at Bill Travis and barfed on Principal Wiggins, who barfed on the lumberjack that was sitting next to him. Mayor Grundy barfed on his wife's tits, but when the smell hit the crowd, that's when Lardass's plan really started to work. Girlfriends barfed on boyfriends, kids barfed on their parents, a fat lady barfed in her purse, the Donnelly twins barfed on each other, and the women's auxiliary barfed all over the Benevolent Order of Antelopes. And Lardass just sat back and enjoyed what he'd created. A complete and total cheat codes-orama. It's January 21st, 2016. Welcome to episode 81 of the Cheat Codes Podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we're glad you're hanging out with us, as always. The next hour is us drinking a few beers and going over our favorite bits from the past week in video game, tech, and pop culture news, for the most part, I think. My name is Joe Erskine, and I am your host. We're coming to you from the most diabolical pie-eating contest of all time. Today I'm here with the Cheat Codes producer and editor, Mr. Joe Eyeball Arroyo.
Hello.
Cheat Codes contributor, Mr. Nick Vern Golish.
Hey, how's it going?
And we're excited to welcome game designer at Respawn, Mr. Davis Ace Standley.
Hey guys.
Hey buddy. Today on the show, we'll peel the leeches off our schwanzes that are the following main topics. Microsoft is bringing Minecraft to more classrooms this summer. We'll regale you with our best rage quit stories, and Andy Serkis's Imaginarium Studios is getting in on the indie game publishing mix. For today's lightning round, we're going to sick our junkyard dog on the following bits. Should all games come with a difficulty sending? We'll find out.
Sending.
Or a setting, too, maybe. Yeah, who knows.
Lastly, we go over the science behind internet trolls. Mr. Standley!
We already got that one down.
Thank you for joining us today, sir. How are things in sunny California?
Yeah, it's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.
California, it's warming up. We had our deep, dark, cold winter of 60 degrees, so it was real rough.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Like an
dark
ice age.
times, dude.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like to work at Respawn and what you're working on, if you can, whatever you can say, you know.
Yeah. I'm doing level design for the new Titanfall game. It's crazy to work at a AAA game and see all the weird hacks that people do before it's shipped.
Nice.
It's like a DigiPen project filled with professionals in a big team.
So nothing much changes other than experience.
Than the size, yeah.
Yeah. and you can generally rely on everyone, which is good.
That's good.
But
That's good.
people are still super chill and casual, which is surprising. And dude, when you're not on the school schedule, like seriously, time goes really fast.
Yeah,
Freaks me out.
I can
It's been
attest to
7
that.
months.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
It is
So-
really weird. Yeah.
Are you still waking up in like a cold sweat at night, thinking about like a GAT project that you have to get done, or?
Oh, you brought me back.
Look out for Charlie's in the trees.
Oh god.
I can appreciate the fact that I'm sure that's probably taking time to get over, and I'm sorry to bring that back up, but it is probably nice to actually just be like a normal-ish work schedule, and actually be getting paid for it as opposed to paying to be there.
Yes.
And how about that for a change?
Yes.
He didn't really disclose whether or not they pay him.
Right.
You didn't ask
That's
that.
probably part of the
That was a
NDA,
little,
actually, but
Yeah. A little complicated.
well, thank you, man, for being here. We're looking forward to talking with you. All right, before we get on with the main course of the show, let's talk about what we're washing it down with. What's better than jawing about video games with your buddies while doing it while drinking a few beers, of course. Today we're enjoying some 3 Mag Rain IPA from the 3 Magnus Brewing Company in Olympia, Washington. This is a new one that we saw at the local beer shop, and I'm always looking for a new IPA, so I figured why not. It's a little maltier than I'd have expected, but not in a bad way. It balances out the beer pretty well. I think happy to recommend this one, I think. It's very nice. Well done, 3 Magnets. Well done. Should we wait? So we did this last week where we did a nice cheers to like Lemmy and Bowie and obviously Alan Rickman. Should we do a little cheers for Glenn Fry?
Yes.
I know it's not necessarily cool to be an Eagles fan, but what the fuck, right? And also the drummer from Mott the Hoople died this week too. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, If you're not an Eagles fan, then you've got lion eyes.
Desperado. All right. Okay, so that out of the way, Glenn Fry, R.I.P. buddy. Let's get right into it here. After Microsoft acquired Minecraft in 2014 for about $2.5 billion.
$billion.
And
oh my God.
Friendly reminder that this is roughly more than half the cost of Star Wars, by the way. Just saying. When Disney bought
Put
Star
in
Wars.
Perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
They've augmented this recently by acquiring a software called Minecraft EDU, which it includes various aspects of. It's basically just Minecraft, but catering to a curriculum that helps students learn STEM stuff, history, language, and art lessons. They'll use the software to release their own Minecraft Education Edition this summer, and that comes along with a free trial. So last week we were talking a lot about that Norwegian high school that I'm still not going to try and pronounce. But we've seen this kind of happening, and maybe we're talking about it a bit late, but I think the way it's hitting kind of like news cycles and stuff like that, it's very interesting in how everybody kept telling us that video games were going to rot our brains, but now video games are being used to enhance our brains.
Yeah, you've got esports coming in as classes, and it was cool to talk about last week because we had the older students who got to choose things as elective courses in classes to do it. But now we're looking at the 1 week later from that announcement, finding out that they're going to start using it at the elementary school level and the middle school level as these core classes. Not teaching you, not a class about games, but a class that utilizes games technology to actually teach people, what they need to know in other disciplines.
Yeah, build a curriculum around.
Yeah, have a kid with a giant smile on their face while they're playing Minecraft all the time, but not being quite aware that they're learning more than they think they are.
Being tricked into being a good student.
Okay, that's what you do. It's all a trick.
Davis, let me ask you a semi-personal question.
Sure.
How old are you, buddy?
22.
22.
Almost 23. I'm 23 actually tomorrow. So.
Oh, nice, dude.
Happy birthday.
I'm 34 on Monday, so hooray for January birthdays. Right on.
Nice.
When you were in school, like elementary school style, did you have access to computers at all? Like, were you doing like basic like typing things or any of that kind of like computer lab stuff? Like,
we had some pretty sweet, ancient, janky typing programs that we messed around with, and we had GarageBand, and that was our lives.
Okay,
like, right there.
But did you guys was Oregon Trail still a thing at that point?
No, we skipped that era. It was kind of tragic.
That's fucked up.
We just went straight into like typing asteroids.
Okay.
Oh,
we were just like, oh shit, type out the word before I die. God.
Yeah. For us, it was numbers, number munchers, Millie's Math House, the Playroom.
Like Mavis Staples typing, like the words per minute.
Yes, Mavis. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
and Oregon Trail, and then there was Computer Lab was one of our classes.
Right, when we used like super old school apples.
Yeah,
to like
everyone had an apple because that was the education
2E and above or whatever.
Yep. It was cool that was an option, but what makes this so different, such a game changer is, I mean, when you went to Computer Lab, you sat down and you were guided through how to open a certain application and do a thing with it or whatever. It's nice to know kids are playing Minecraft incredibly young. I mean, you can attest to this.
Yeah, my little brother and sister are playing it at like 5, and it's silly. Like, I played that game 10 years ago, it seems like already, and obviously it didn't come out that long. No, but it's been a while. I definitely started before school, so 5, 6, 7 years ago, I think, maybe. And I got one of my older brothers into it, and he got my younger brother and sister into it, and everybody's still playing it in my family's house, it seems like. So I was like,
you got to tap into what the kids are already excited about. That's how you teach, right?
Well, I think, to me, this is what kind of starts justifying the $2.5 billion price tag. Is that
$1 billion
people understand? Like, when they paid that money to Mojang and to Notch and all that, like, they understood the implications, right? Like of its possibilities as a teaching tool, and people are already using it. Like, there's in this article, they talk about that Minecraft is being used in some capacity and already in 7,000 classrooms across 40 plus countries, right? So it's kind of already in place. But what Microsoft is doing now is actually trying to make it like a structured, customizable curriculum-based tool to kind of like center. I don't know if it becomes the focal point for your entire day in class, like where you're just in a Minecraft server all day long. But they're clearly going to use it fairly like. Does that replace recess time or something? Like, how does that work? Like, I'm curious.
I feel like the kids are going to sit in there and play during recess, maybe, and maybe they have that option.
Yeah, if you guys want to stick around and learn more about George Washington,
it's not just like
they're like, no, I don't want to go outside and play.
I got to build some wooden teeth and put.
It's not even that they're just learning about stuff in Minecraft. They're learning the things in Minecraft that help them with like spatial recognition, volumetric, like. I don't know.
Using
awareness.
really big words right now.
Yeah, volumetric awareness.
I'm making this stuff up as we go, but I think like these are some of the things I read. I can't think of the specifics, but like they're learning maybe to expand their elastic thinking, I guess you could say, in Minecraft more than they would in just a normal class.
No, I think you're right. And to your point, sorry, Davis, I'm going to give you a shot here in 1 second. The words that the teachers used were digital citizenship, empathy, social skills, and even literacy were the things that they were trying to highlight using this Minecraft EDU.
Okay, I guess I saw other words in there.
They did talk about spatial awareness and
yes.
stuff, but that's a byproduct of the game itself.
Well, yeah,
and this is
like,
about using the game to also like trick them into learning other stuff.
Right. Yeah. It's like don't pay no attention behind the man behind the curtain. But Davis, what were you going to say, man? Go ahead.
It's just interesting because I remember last week you guys were talking about with esports, a part of that class aside from just the technical skills, learning how to work together as a team. And this seems like a really interesting example of people getting that same kind of vein of knowledge at such a younger age. Because, I mean, there was that one Penny Arcade guy had that story from last summer. He was talking about one of his friends' kids was trolling like the hell out of the whole set of their friends' kids. And like,
this
doing
was
this
PAX
little
Dev.
investigation. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, they found the kid and they banned him, and he was like crying. And they're like, "No, you get banned."
Yeah, it was like his story was called like Minecraft CSI or something. Where they had to find out like the next day in the rubble of the destruction. Use stuff. Yeah, they had to use clues and investigate to find out what little shithead was going in there and bombing everyone at night when they were asleep. So that brings up a good point, because it makes you wonder, do they set it up so it's like, here's your classmate Minecraft server and you could potentially end up in detention one day because you like bombed so-and-so's hard work, you went in there and like ruined it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wouldn't that be great? And then you gotta call the mom into school and explain what Minecraft is before you explain what happened.
Wait, what was the safe word in the South Park episode where Minecraft was the thing?
Oh, I don't remember.
That was last season, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's going to be the title of the episode. Will be the safe word from the South Park. That's what it is at this point. We'll see what happens.
Like
but
I just remember the parents going to the people's houses like, "Can you teach me to play Minecraft?"
It's literally that's what's going to happen. I think this is really cool. I mean it's cool in like the kid in me that's saying that, yay, video games are being used in schools and mom was wrong, so stick to you, mom. It's not rotting my brain. Like now they're teaching me with it, and we're better than our previous generation of students.
I don't know if we can go that far yet, because this is.
But he wants to.
I know.
No, I want to. I'm just that's why I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for that reason also, but you gotta take a look at it and like, there's not many years of research on this.
There's no quantifiable data to really back it up. And that's,
question. What was, because this is not necessarily an effort by somebody in like the gaming industry to be like, we need to push it into education. This is more of a thing where an instructor can recognize how to reach children by seeing what it is they do all day and finding a way to teach through that medium, right? This kind of,
but more than that, there's actually a game that exists that allows for that.
Right. So what I'm getting at is it transcends video games. It's more of a take advantage of what kids are currently interested in and teach them through that. So my question is, when you were in middle school age and stuff like that, what was the thing you were doing with 90% of your time that your parents could have taught you through? It doesn't have to be video games. It could have been Legos, right? Is really similar to that kind of thing.
I think Legos are video games, and then maybe.
What'd you do with all your time when you were a kid? You got off school and you didn't have
we played
PC
like
games.
Football in the backyard, that kind of stuff. Rode bikes,
Probably ditch them. Yeah, ride around on bikes.
Yeah.
According to my sister, we ate dirt, but
you can learn a lot through that. I think
it really extends your flavor profile on your palate.
Davis, anything come to mind?
Well, it's interesting to me because I feel like what a lot of kids learn on like the playground and after school with their friends is a lot of similar skills that people can pick up in Minecraft. Like just playing together, because honestly, that environment is so prime for trolling the hell out of each other.
Yeah, even just Even just playing on a slide.
Yeah. And so it's like, what kind of social skills and like cooperative and like, I don't know, like even mining together. Like, oh my God, I found diamond and don't mine it before I do, All sorts of crazy stuff like that.
I think there's going to be a bunch of that's what kind of the gift that keeps on giving that is Minecraft is like the emergent kind of stuff, like between the design and like kind of like new ideas, like the internal, like the fact that you can actually like make programs inside of Minecraft, and that helps.
That helps with the learning of the STEM stuff.
Sure. So I think it's kind of like a weird confluence of events. Like here's this game that like is insanely popular and now is widely available based on its acquisition by Microsoft. So and educators even before that Microsoft acquisition happened were already starting to incorporate it into their curriculums. Like they understood the appeal to the kids of that demographic, where it needed to appeal and how to build around it. Like I don't know.
Well, yeah, like
it sounds like it's probably worth $2.5 billion to me.
Well, I think
strictly on an education level.
$1 billion. I gotta say it every time.
Yes. $100 billion. Before this came out and everything, and they were releasing like these educational versions of Minecraft, I remember some article about people actually just taking Minecraft and teaching kids in it. Like they're actually just using it in school curriculum. And then I guess maybe from that they decided like, oh, let's actually create an educational version of this game that people can actually use in a classroom. And
yeah, we should be a little more
the tools.
Yeah, exactly. We should be a little more clear. I don't think we quite summed up what the EDU version is actually giving the teachers.
Yeah. It's not just playing Minecraft.
Right.
It's like a structure. Minecraft.
Right. Yeah. Giving the teachers tools themselves that allow them to set up lessons and curriculum and stuff like that inside the game, so that it's a little more automated. It's not like the instructor having to handle it themselves and then basically babysit a bunch of kids and make sure they're learning.
Well, they're already babysitting the kids. Like, don't make them babysit in the game as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's gonna be beautiful though, because first of all, teachers are gonna have to learn how to build stuff in Minecraft. Like they're gonna be like, how do I make a switch to open a door? And they're gonna look up some like YouTube video with like a 14-year-old dude telling them how to do it. And that just cracks me up. And then the other one is teachers have to be admins now on the server.
Yeah.
And deal with like the kids' shit, where the kid's like, he blew up my stuff, and the teacher's like, shit, we have to look through the console log. Like, everyone stop what you're doing.
I think from the programming teaching perspective, not to go back to that, but one of the coolest things I can envision is the problem with programming currently in a lot of the classes, although this is changing, is that it's very difficult to teach someone what makes programming valuable right away until they get really deep into it. It's kind of like calculus. Like it's one of those things where until you actually have that tangible moment where you realize it did something that saved you work or helped you or made your life easier, they can do that pretty much right away in Minecraft, where it's like, are you sick of mining trees? You guys have been doing that for a whole year. Like, what if I told you we could teach you how to make these little bots that would just do that for you? And they'd be like, what? Like, how do I do that? And then suddenly they're writing scripts and
automation is a thing and everything. Yeah.
They're like, oh, I get it. I understand what programming how it can benefit me. Maybe I'm interested in this field for real.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Without having to take tons of programming classes before you get...
Even if I'm not interested, at least I understand the capabilities, you know what I mean? Or like where that comes from. It's not like a black box thing anymore, which is cool. So,
yep. And it's going to cost money though, right? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm really interested to see if Minecraft is like a gateway drug for other games. You know what I mean? Like where it's going to go after Minecraft.
What can we teach kids in?
Are they going to pick other games? Like, is Kerbal Space Program going to be a thing, or
that could easily be a thing for like math and physics? Like,
definitely. I mean, Kerbal Space Program is all like calculus. It's like if you don't know how to like properly
achieve escape velocity, then you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's the advanced class. Yeah, and then now there's so many sandbox games that are built on like pseudo engineering now. And so many coming out. There's the one you just were showing me today about building the cars and stuff.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what it's called. It's really big on Steam right now, but it's you make cars out of different parts and you drive them around. It's like physically based and so.
You're literally but real car parts. Like you're
not real car parts. You're building like just these physical.
It's really stylized.
Like, you build like you put a wheel on it, but you have to have an engine. You have to make sure the wheels are going the right way, and
somebody should look that up.
And then you get in the car and you attempt to drive it. What was it?
Scrap mechanic?
That sounds right.
That might
Scrap
be it, yeah.
That is it. Yep. And it's cool to see people because then you get in the car and you try and drive it, and then if it doesn't drive right, you look like an idiot trying to get around the environment, running into stuff and flipping over. And
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really hard to get those other games out to these school community or like to schools to be able to do it. I think Minecraft's already at that point that Minecraft's just going to be on top of the school education for a long time because Microsoft's already got a hold of it and they can distribute it to all these schools easily.
Well, this is the other thing, though. The final note on this essentially is that it's not free, though. So it's not like them.
It will be for the summer. They'll do trials in the summer that are free.
Sure, but then right, it's going to cost $25 a month per server, right? And then you have to do what?
Sorry, I wrote this wrong. No, I'm gonna the way that the EDU people that made the initial software before it was acquired by Microsoft. That's what they were charging was $25 per month per server. But the way that Microsoft's going to change that is they're going to charge $5 per student and teacher per year.
Got it.
So it's a little bit cheaper and more accessible.
That is okay. I mean? So that's a step in the right direction financially, but still, it's a thing where how is that going to really play out? Whose pocket is that coming from? And what? And you really think that the public is going to be okay, like voting on like that
video
coming out of a public education?
Like, what am I paying for with my taxes? Yeah,
that's going to turn into a whole nother thing where it's like, yay, we had a victory, and then no, never mind. Because
wait till they try and justify GTA 5 for like a sociology class.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
it's like now, students, you can kill the hooker and take your money back.
Right. That's economics. Yeah.
College 101, guys, save money.
Always get your money
Think about
back.
how much ramen you could buy.
Make friends with her on Facebook first. All right, we'll move on. That was good. Good job, guys. All right, number 2. PC Gamer posted their best internal rage quit stories last week, and among them, you'll find some humor, frustration, and certainly some personal parallels. At least I did. And we'll link to the article when we post the episode. Of course, you can go and read all about PC Gamer's staff and throwing controllers and smashing shit. Which is really what rage quitting is all about, depending on the game that you're playing. I'm hoping we can all go around the horn here. Tell us what you're playing, what happened, and paint us a picture of your ultimate rage quit. And we're encouraging you guys listening to hit us up on the Facebook or even on the SoundCloud notes, the timestamp and share your rage quit stories or something. That would be pretty rad. These are always fun to hear, I think, because I think everybody has one at least, or if not a handful or more. And it may not be as severe as others, but I think everybody's played a game that they were excited about and then been so frustrated to the point where they broke something or hurt themselves. No, I'm just saying they like punched a wall and they like broke a knuckle or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Standley, I'm actually gonna give it up to you first. Good. You can take all the time you need, sir. But I'm curious, what's your bet? Or when I say best, it could also be worst.
What's your favorite?
Yeah. What's the one that comes to mind first, I guess?
Yeah, so my dad used to have this old computer, and I played this really weird... It was the only time... I never thought I'd play a golfing game, but I was so into this golfing game. It was an online golfing game, and he had this old computer, and I used to think it was good for the computer to just tear out the power cord and just force shut it down. I didn't think it really had consequences. So, yeah, man. And it was the kind of thing where it's like you hit spacebar to start your swing, and then you hit it at the right time. And I would miss this at like 2 a.m. Oh my god, I get so pissed. I'd like smash the keyboard, tear out the thing, and be like, "Fuck!" And then like after about a month of that, I turned the computer on. And the computer was like, "Yo, bitch, I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm so dead." And I was like, "What do you mean? Why don't you work?"
I have to play golf.
That was a valuable life lesson.
Do you remember the name of the game?
Yeah, it was. Oh Jesus, I'm ashamed.
Go ahead.
It was called Pang Ya Golf. It was like this Asian golf game and all these eccentric anime characters, and they're like, "Yeah, Pang Ya, hit the ball." And me and my sister were so into it. I was like, "I'm gonna fucking hole-in-one the shit out of this." Really mundane compared to shooters nowadays.
That's what I said on my wedding night.
Well done. Mm-hmm. Good one. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. All right. Mr. Golish.
Hey, how's it going?
We're going to cross the table here, and you're going to give me your best rage quit story.
I got to think. It's hard for me to like have a rage quit story because I don't really get upset about things.
He doesn't have any emotions in case
I have no emotions. I am a robot.
I was just gonna say you're a robot. Yes.
Let's see.
I put the controller down and walked away.
I kind of want to tell
a story.
I kind of want to tell 2 stories.
Okay,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
The first story is I played a lot of EVE Online, and that game gets you very emotionally invested in the ships and the work that you've done and everything. So examples of us like maybe like getting really upset. We didn't quit the game because I guess you actually have to quit the game to actually rage quit. But there are times where you lose a ship or something happens and you get up and you like knock everything over because you're like everything just fucking sucks. Like, and while we were in the Air Force, we would drink a ton of Bushnell's or no, not Bushnell's. I think it's just called Bush beer.
Yeah, it's just
Bush.
Yeah. Bush.
Yeah, and it tastes like water. And we were 21 or 20 maybe, but
Or 20 maybe.
We'd buy like 30 packs, like 30 packs a weekend, and we'd go through that stuff, and we'd start making beer pyramids out of it. So you just kind of like knock over the beer pyramid, and you get really you lose a spaceship, you just fucking kick the beer pyramid.
It was a preemptive rage quit. Essentially, like you knew it was gonna happen, so you built something to knock over ahead of time.
Yeah, it's like
That's awesome.
Or like you don't really flip the table because you got your computer and like I'm just a poor Air Force person or something. But
your rage quits are lacking emotion.
They suck.
Like,
yeah, I know.
It makes a good story. It's like some frats were we're off the hook, and other ones you were a group of friends doing spreadsheets.
Like
in
the pledges end up dead, and the other ones like they stood around and played Go Fish.
Yeah.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
The second story I wanted to say real quick was because I wanted to mention my friend Robert, he's one of my best friends back home. I'm pretty sure I beat him really bad in some fighting game, probably Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, I think. And
he said the whole name.
If I recall
December
correctly.
1st, 1990.
I think I beat him, and he like picked up the controller and he threw it at me, and it actually hit me in the face. And I don't know if you ever noticed, like I have like a scar on my eyebrow right here, and that's from him hitting me in the head with the PlayStation 2 controller. I actually bled all over my eye because I don't know. I got hit by the analog stick.
But you have a scar from somebody else's rage quit.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good rage quit story for sure.
And a rage quit that you provoked, which kind of makes it better.
It got better because I ran over his foot with a van later.
Did you wait? So, and we're gonna leave that for another time.
I'm gonna tell that story on purpose.
Wait, after he threw the controller and he hit you and you started bleeding, did you like? Instead of like lashing out at him, did you turn around and like knock over a pyramid of bush cans? Like
we weren't drinking at the time. That was like in high school, but it was I don't know. Okay. I don't remember what happened from it. I do remember some other point where I broke his table like by leaning back, and I like there was glass and it just kind of like shattered everything. But because I was really upset. I don't know if that was the same incident, but I can't remember.
Hopefully Robert comments and shares the same story from a totally different perspective. You know what I mean? Where like Nick was being an asshole and he wouldn't shut up, and so I had to throw a controller in his face to make him stop. And that, anyway.
No, his version of the story is like Nick fell and landed on a controller,
right, and like cut his eye.
No, he's very happy about the fact that it's like, hey, when you look at the mirror, you get to see that scar and remember me.
Think of me.
I was like, oh, you get to see that scar on your foot when I ran over your foot and you had surgery.
It's a permanent reminder.
So we hurt each other enough.
I picture Nick like running him down on the road.
No, it's fucking stupid.
Controller incident, bitch.
Yeah.
All right, Arroyo.
Okay, so a lot of rage, but I'm not a fucking quitter. All right. So my stories
Jesus. Okay.
usually involve breaking something and then coming back and returning to the game until I accomplished it, which also meant many sleepless nights in my life. To the point where I don't know. I don't have. That's why I don't have a specific story, but I'll have some about like playing Halo all night, Halo 2 online with my brother and our good friend Nick, and we would play a bunch, and we'd get so pissed sometimes. Controllers would break all the time. We always had to have we'd buy 3 or 4 extra GameStop controllers, like the cheap ones, because we knew we'd be breaking them like weekly. And it wouldn't be a Halo night if we didn't throw a controller at least like 3 or 4 times, or punch a wall, or kick each other. Usually I got in a fight with my brother once a week, and he'd kick my ass
over Halo
badly. Yeah, and then we'd be back to playing somehow on the same team. I don't know how that worked. Well, I just I'm so
sounds like your
pissed
brother
when-
knows what he's doing.
No, it's because he didn't know what he's fucking doing in the game. And I would call him out on it, and he would just punch me in the face. And that's the kind of relationship.
And then he learned his lesson.
He as in me or him? I don't know how that
He
works.
learned his lesson for punching in the
Right.
face how to play the game again.
That was the kind of game where we would play all night because we didn't actually level up because we sucked, and it was 3:00 in the morning, and we're not good anymore. Right. And I'd fall asleep on the couch at like 6 a.m. And my mom would like wake me up and be like, "Why are you not sleeping in your bed?" And I'd be like, "I gotta get the shield." And
I was looking for a skull.
I don't have the battle rifle, Mom. And she's like, "What are you talking about?"
See, this is why parents were freaking out, dude.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
Groggy kid, and he'd be like, "I need the battle rifle." Like, holy shit, my kid's going insane. It's over.
It wasn't any better that there was like a full cake that we decided to bake because we were all so stoned and ate half of it. And I remember her walking away distinctly on that night and just being like, "I'm also going to pretend like I didn't see that you just baked and ate a whole cake at 5 a.m.
These circumstances aren't strange at all.
Love you, Mom.
All right. For me, I have very strong feelings when it comes to StarCraft 2. The initial release, the human one, the Terran or whatever the fuck you want to call it, Jimmy Raynor and all his bullshit. But I was super excited about StarCraft 2. This was like the pre-Diablo thing, or slightly thereafter. I can't remember the
3
before Diablo 3 came out. Did StarCraft 2 come first? Or did Diablo 3 come first?
I think Diablo 3.
You're losing the audience, George.
Fine, whatever. I'm asking for clarification is what I'm doing, and I'm sure I'll hear all about it. But what I'm saying is, I was really I loved like the Warcraft series, like 2 and 3, and the original StarCraft and everything like that. Like, yay, Blizzard, right? Like they could do no wrong. Whatever. Until StarCraft 2 happened, and then I played the initial release, and I got like 4 or 5 missions deep, and I'm like, this is cool, and like there's some awesome cutscenes as Blizzard does. And then there's like the less like high res stuff where you're kind of like in the bar and you're clicking on stuff to like messing with the way they lay out their HUD and their interface, the UI stuff, whatever. But like about 5 or 6 missions deep, and it might have been more, might have been less, I'm not sure, but it's like when you first meet the first Protoss guy, and he's like, he's talking in that stupid creepy voice, and you're like, here's a timed mission, and you have to like defend this base for a little while, but also like make sure you hit these other checkpoints. And this mission was like fucking impossible. Like, I am not a pro StarCraft player. Game. Like, it clearly changed the way that I was playing, because I was like, I could just leisurely like build some stuff and build some troops and like fight back some Zerg and then go raid some shit, and that's fun. Yay, StarCraft, This one was like unless you're hitting like 150 clicks a minute, there's no way in fucking hell you're going to beat this. Like that's the way it felt to me at the time. I'm sure that's not the case, but like I tried this thing like 10, 20 times, couldn't do it. Threw my mouse across the fucking room, uninstalled StarCraft, and then I uninstalled Battle.net because I was like, fuck you, Blizzard, like fuck you. And I whatever. I got real fucking upset.
I'm not gonna lie. I rage quit that story. It was a little early.
I hear the new expansion is actually pretty good, like the Legacy of the Void or whatever. But God, fuck that game, dude. Fuck StarCraft 2. That's all I gotta say.
You didn't catch it.
Yeah,
That's right.
Which makes it better. When you
That's
listen
fine.
back to the episode, you'll be
whatever.
You'll be impressed by
Great.
Nick's
Inclusion on this little.
I don't
No,
know if
I
you
liked
guys
it at
get
the end.
this, but there's like the weirdest thing for me about like actually working on games now and game difficulty, where like if I start to rage, I get on this like stupid little high horse about how the game's badly designed.
Yeah.
And I get on like a little rant, and I try and start ranting to my roommates, and thankfully they call me out on my shit. They're like, shut the fuck up. Like, just because you get paid doesn't mean you can complain that Dark Souls is badly designed. Like, just get better, kid. But I'd be like, oh my god, this boss doesn't convey his attack. He's inconsistent. Burn him.
Are your roommates also in the games industry,
Yeah,
or?
yeah, I'm rooming with Justin Cook, if you know him.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yep.
And Joe Lubertazzi just moved in
Oh, you guys got
5
a little,
days ago.
That's awesome.
It's like we all went to college together, so let's live together, kind of thing.
Party continues.
Sweet. That sounds good. Right on.
I wouldn't call our college a party, but that's fine.
That's the last thing that
I did the
college
party
is.
thing already
More
before
of a
college.
boot camp. Yeah. Knock over some bush, a pyramid of bush.
They really know how to rage in Wisconsin, buddy. Yeah.
That was in Oklahoma when I was in.
Were you okay?
In the Air Force? Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry.
I didn't play video games or online video games until the Air Force.
And that's Nick's story, everybody. And he's sticking to it.
Thank you for your service.
All right. Topic number 3 for our main topics today. We're going to talk about Andy Serkis and his mocap studio, Imaginarium Studios. The line between movies and video games continues to blur, as is evident with the recent announcement that the aforementioned Andy Serkis, who you know as Gollum, not only as the voice but as the motion capture actor.
His name's Smeagol.
Yes, thank you. He did King Kong. He did Caesar the Ape in the new Planet of the Apes movies, and he was also Supreme Leader Snoke in the new Star Wars movie.
That's too bad.
Yeah, he's all over the place. But they're partnering with a nonprofit called Creative England to form a new indie game publisher that's obviously going to focus on indie games. They're hoping to do about 5 to 10 a year.
Can I say something?
Yeah, you're on a podcast.
All right. So they're creating a publishing studio for indie games.
Okay.
They're indie because they don't have publishers?
Oh well, we've been on this
They're not
many
indie
times
anymore.
I'm just curious. Like
They're single A at that point.
they're single.
We call it or triple I.
Triple I.
Triple A.
Oh my god. Well, so it's a valid question, but at the same time,
That wasn't a question.
I stand corrected.
I just wanted to say
They
something.
they do make a point in the article saying that what they're trying to do is actually have these games get developed, help them get developed, and then create a bridge between them and potential like commercial opportunities
that makes
with
a lot of
larger
sense, I think,
corporations. So.
They'll make sure you still live in your own filth and can barely afford to fly home to see your parents during Christmas. But other than that, yeah, full on.
You can build
experience.
not only a triangle or a pyramid, but like a full on house out of bush cans before.
Basically,
before the time
they
you're
do
done.
that. They give you that, or they give you like they give you your insulin so that you can
Make sure you don't die from diabetic shock. Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
This was announced at the Creative England Live 2016 Catalyze event. They plan to bring, like I said, 5 to 10 games in the first year. Then they intend to act as a link between indie developers and larger corporations to help market and sell and publish the games. So before we all jump off the bandwagon here, and I want to make a larger correlation. Like, yes, we've seen things like Until Dawn and like Telltale do stuff that like creates more like narrative based experiences that start to kind of blur the lines between movies and games. What I'm interested about this is that like, do we need to start worrying about the fact that Guillermo del Toro is going to direct a Kojima designed game that stars Andy Serkis as a motion captured something or other, or does this become a much larger statement like we have movies that get made based on games that suck, and then we have games that get made based on movies that suck. So like by bridging the two,
will it suck less? Is that what you're asking?
if we're gonna start hitting it from the middle, is this a better way to approach the unholy marriage of these two medias? Like, what's up?
I don't know. When I read the article, I thought this isn't really that kind of bridge. I felt like it was more like this guy likes video games and he's a mocap guy, and so he wants to help out these video game people. But I'm gonna not necessarily bridge the gap between movies and video games. At least that's how I took it.
But it is interesting because I think Creative England, which is one of the things they were partnering with, was originally a film group. So I wonder, if they're acting the role as publisher, like how much is that film background going to influence the games they're publishing? Because they're of course going to come in and give feedback and whatever, and say we're paying you money, so make different. But I'll be interested to see how that influence, if it even spreads at all.
I think it will. I don't think they're doing something quite as noble as the way you were presenting it, although I'm sure the article was kind of on that boat as well. I think it's more just a way for a company that's interested in multiple mediums to get involved in the industry. And it has implications that are noble, but I don't think it's necessarily the game. It's more of a positive outcome capitalization on this area, this space right now. These indie games are coming out. Some of them are hitting so hard and much stronger than some AAA titles, and the market's starting to shift. And a lot of people want to jump right in the center there and find a way to get... It's like, whoa, I wonder what indie games are going to look like if they had access to a mocap studio. Holy shit, like, that'd be great. Let's get involved with something like that. And that's kind of the way I see it. It's a positive thing, but it's also a smart business decision from somebody who is interested in getting involved.
And somebody who has, like, a history of games, too. Like,
right.
Circus has done a few things. Odyssey, like, you know, Journey to the West and stuff like that. Risen, a couple other things. But, I don't know. I don't mind this kind of thing. To me, like this is to me almost is indicative of like we keep watching Netflix blow up, and like they just announced the fact that they like superseded 75 million viewers, and they have like a dedicated like movie studio as well as like a television development studio, and like we see Amazon doing a similar thing, and they just you know they have for like what a year or two now they have their own like dedicated you know game studio as well as like you know multimedia stuff on the side.
Yep.
But when companies do this kind of thing, like it's a larger bid for you know market domination or you know legitimacy, whatever you want to call it, which is a great thing. But I'm hoping that the games come out of here that are A, halfway decent, B, maybe not necessarily like movie centric, and B or C rather, that what we just see is like a medium for people like to do creative shit to get creative shit done, right? Like ultimately that's what I hope for, but I don't know. I kind of want to. I still want to see that Guillermo del Toro directed.
I think
Kojima designed and Circus acted movie / game.
I think we're not going to see that from this because like
probably not.
The focus is on indie games, and they've said that many times. And it's like we're not going to get these big names, and these guys just want to help out indie developers, and that's great. But how is this going to be a merger between Hollywood and video games in a sense? No, it's not, because it's indie games. Like they're not going to get these big actors to do these jobs because they're not going to have the money for it. Publishers are not.
Davis, did they option Titanfall for a movie script yet?
You know, that's above my pay grade.
No, fair enough. I'm going to assume that the answer is probably yes. Somebody probably wrote that script. I'm not, you know, somewhere. I'm going to assume that that's probably happening. Whether or not it's in development or not, who knows? But,
fall another day.
Fall on a Titan.
Dude, the Titanfall puns you hear, ears bleed.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it is interesting though for me hearing about the mocap studio though, because I guess maybe I have a cynical Digipen perspective, but like I just remember, you know, on school projects, it's like someone's like, yeah, and we're gonna have humanoids like humans, and you're just like, oh Jesus, no. Like, God, why? And so it's funny because, you know, I think mocap is great and it's a big stepping stone, but they're really gonna have to vet those indie studios, because I'm sure, you know, I mean, you remember the Kickstarter with the guy who's like, guys, I'm gonna make the Star Wars RPG of your dreams. Just give me $250,000.
Right.
That was like a couple weeks ago, and so, you know, I wonder how many people are going to be like, guys, the barrier from us to like Assassin's Creed is gone. We have mocap. We can do whatever we want. And it's like, oh, really Jesus, no! Like,
you're not wrong about this at all. And I heard that Kickstarter ended up being a disaster to that point anyway.
Well, yeah,
but I think he got the money, but whatever, the concept was kind of shit.
What?
So.
He did?
The Kickstarter made it?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he got the money, but I definitely know the one you're talking about, and I'm trying to remember the headline in my head from. Like, it was a Kotaku thing, and I just
like apologized publicly. It was weird.
Sorry, guys.
The public was like, "You lied to us. Yeah. Our dreams die in your name."
I was just really excited, guys. I'm sorry. This actually, your point totally reminded me of what we were talking about right before the episode, when we saw some of these videos of people going into Unreal Engine. It's about accessibility, right? It's just because you have access to it does not mean you're going to be good at using it or can make a final shippable product from it. I think that's the biggest thing.
Did you see the Legend of Zelda thing?
That's what I'm getting at.
Dude, oh my God.
So it's cool that somebody's willing to take some time in there to you know, throw in those characters and put them in an environment and stuff. But the people think that they get the wrong impression, and they suddenly think that this game is a thing, and it looks like it's mostly done. That's cool. The difference from where they are now with this like little pet project of putting some stuff in there to actually like shipping something like that, even if they got approval, is like years away.
Yes.
Like they have no.
In fact, it's probably impossible because it's a Nintendo. First of all,
I know that. I said if they had It was like in a world where you had approval from Nintendo to do anything.
Right.
Which you don't.
Which you do
that
not.
world doesn't exist.
Yeah. Now streaming nowhere. Nintendo games. That's what I think about what's going to happen here is the more accessibility that's just coming to indies, you're going to also have that big uprising of people who are just like, we can do everything now, and everyone's going to have these weird pet projects that people think are finished because they see like a small vertical slice of something.
Well, you see it happening with like films and everything else. Like we talked about that, like that Star Trek fan film and stuff like that. Like people are going to get into Unreal 4 or Unity or whatever and start like revamping all these old school games. And then the studio's going to come out of which is a great thing as far as a creativity thing. Like it's almost like a teaching vessel too, because people see the accessibility and how possible it is to do it, and that's a great thing. But then the studios turn around and it's like, oh, we're going to sue the fuck out of you, so stop doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is a little unrelated sense. Like, if you imagine where we are right now, where people can just take like assets and put it into Unreal and like make something that looks like Zelda. Imagine that 10 years ago, like we wouldn't have that capability at all. So imagine 10 years from now, people are going to be able to take those assets and put them into something, and they're going to actually have a game. Yeah, like because it's going to do it all for them.
We're not far from that. Yeah, at all. Then designer is king. So at that point, it becomes if you can design, you can make a game, right?
Davis knows. He's like, I know. Oh, he's like, right? Yes.
Listen, I'm just going to say I think we counted, we had a meeting, I think there are like 23, 24 designers at Respawn on Titanfall. There's a crazy amount. There's like a quarter of the team. Mm-hmm. There are pros and cons to everyone being designers. I'll just leave it at that. Pros and cons.
We don't have enough whiteboard space. I'm going to have to start erasing up here, guys.
So get some more construction paper. We're paper prototyping up here. Come on.
Yeah. No, you get so much thinking power, but with that comes there are 15 great ideas on the table, and how do you pick one? Yeah. But that's totally an aside. But one thing, just on the Zelda point, I just want to say that Link, it was all good until they looked at Link's face and focused on his animation, and then that happy little world for me fell apart, because he's got like his little stick arms moving up and down.
Yeah, the sword was kind of dumb
too. His eyes are like a little facing outward.
Yeah, but it blinks.
Like, I don't know, man.
It's polished.
The love couldn't carry me far enough. Yeah. But I think as far as those things go, to serve as inspiration for people who are considering getting into the industry, kind of going all the way back to Minecraft. I think it's almost similar to that, because I remember like special effects became accessible to people, maybe 6-7 years ago, and you got this whole explosion of people on YouTube doing crazy special effects on their own time relative to what you could do before. And now that industry seems like it's really picking up, because in modern movies and like Star Wars is just mind blowing how good it is. So I kind of hope that even if a mocap indie studio like this, like if there are for 10 that they try and ship, 9 fail, at least those 9 inspire 10,000 other people to go try it,
Absolutely.
And then out of those 9 you get 100 people.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea of it. I'm definitely not looking at it in like a cynical, negative light, even though it sounded like it in my last point. But what I'm worried about is just the oversaturation, and then being able to tell apart a good game from a bad game is going to be much harder for the consumer. So hopefully, by all means, make all the games you can possibly imagine in your life. All hundreds of thousands of people that have access to mocap now. I'm all about that. That's cool. I'm probably going to play a tiny little fraction of them, but that's
even regardless of whether or not the mocap actually takes place as part of the game publishing or development. For me, it's just cool when enthusiastic people get behind cool shit that I like, and makes it more accessible to other people. So, and when you bridge that gap between games and movies, like most people, from what I've heard recently, people should believe that like games and movies should be separate things, and like I feel like it's like the perfect marriage of like storytelling and interactivity. So more of this, please. You know what I mean? But all right, lightning round. Here we go. Ready? Crow. All right. We're gonna do lightning round. Here's how it works. We're gonna take 2 quick topics and give each member of the panel a minute, to chime in uninterrupted for the most part. At the end of each minute, we will award the panelist a quantity of some type of point based on nothing in particular. So on the top of the list, and Davis, I'm going to prepare you ahead of time. You're going to go first. You'll get the first minute, but I'll describe the topic, and then you'll have 60 seconds to give your thoughts on it, however you decide to spend it. A Gawker offshoot called TAY, which stands for Talk Amongst Yourselves, posted an op-ed recently that posed a pretty common but not so discussed opinion that all games should include a difficulty option. Yes or no? Sort of. I'm pretty curious to hear where everybody lands on this. But do you compromise like a design dialogue if you do so? What if games aren't intended to be easy? Is it absolutely necessary? And or where's the harm in having a difficulty option? From a production value, I think everyone on this podcast understands that like incorporating difficulty means a certain amount of legwork to make that work. Yeah, absolutely. But that being said, Mr. Standley, give me 60 seconds or less about whether you think that all games should come with a difficulty option or not.
All right. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. I think different difficulty options, I guess from the perspective of that article, and I kind of share this perspective, can get you access to different audiences. And I think fundamentally difficulty is a question of what audience do you want to go for, at least insofar as how it affects the game itself. Like your game is already shooting for an audience and your difficulty just modifies that audience. So, they're bringing up Bloodborne, and obviously that's for a super hardcore audience. And so it's interesting because even if they made that game easy, the menu system is still archaic. The item game, the exploration is like just a pain in the dick. Like, there's no way a casual player would even survive that without pointers. So, but on the far side, Mass Effect, the later Mass Effects did a really good job, I think, of difficulty settings, and I really hope that's the right game I'm thinking of. But they had basically a movie mode where the game was just trivial to play, and you could just stomp through and get the story. Or they had a really hardcore mode for the people who really wanted to polish their skills. So in that perspective, you can have your core audience and then nail other niche audiences like your hardcore or your casual, or maybe your friend wants to show their casual friend how to play. And so that's another thing you could do with it. Also, apologies for using the term casual. The guy in the article expressly hated that word.
I think everybody can identify what casual means. So don't
filthy casuals.
Right, filthy casual. No, whatever. I'm a casual guy these days. I understand. I feel the pain. As a reward for your minute, I'm going to give you 5 blood boners.
I knew that was coming. No pun intended.
The article, this was used Bloodborne. As
at this point, we've been calling the game Blood Boners since
for
I don't even
months
know.
now. Yeah, but you get 5 of them. So congratulations.
Nice.
I think you
use them wisely.
Yeah, don't spend them all in one place. No, I think you made some good points and used your minute wisely. So congratulations, Mr. Golish.
Hey,
talk to me about game difficulty.
The actual question was, should all games include game difficulty? It's like, no.
Okay.
Wow.
No, I don't think all games should include difficulty. I think most games probably, but there are definitely some games out there that. Why would they need a game a difficulty to actually be accessible to everybody? There's plenty of artistic games out there where you fly around as a flower and you learn something. Flower. And you learn something about life or whales,
poetry or something.
But yeah,
spell the message out in text.
So I think difficulty is very beneficial a lot of the time, but I don't. Is it necessary? I think it's nice to be able to play some hard game on easy mode if I'm just playing casually. But most of those games, I guess, that have those different modes, I don't even play myself. Like I just play sandbox games or League of Legends or something. You're playing against other people. In multiplayer games, what's the difficulty mean in that? So, I don't know.
I will also award you 5 blood boners.
Oh, tied for blood boners.
So now you can go tip to tip to tip to tip to tip with Davis.
Enough, I don't think. Okay.
I think I did 5. Anyway, Royal, go ahead.
You had to do 10 technically.
But it's
tips.
Tips.
No,
Okay.
tips to tips.
Yeah.
To tips to tips.
That would have worked. That would have worked. Okay, my minute.
You're in?
You have to ask what the fuck difficulty even means when you talk about adding a game difficulty, other than the fact that you're saying, can I go to the menu and make this game easier? What does easier mean for a sandbox game? And how does that devalue the players who spent all fucking day like using like in an engineer game building a car like the one we were talking about, just for somebody else to go in there and be like, oh, I put it on easy so it built it for me, and like now I'm driving next to you. Hey, buddy, you spent 5 hours on this. I spent none, like because I wanted the easy version. For a story game, it makes a ton of sense. If you're gonna have a film-esque game that plays out in that cinematic experience, then people want to be able to get through the story you're trying to present to them, no matter how difficult they are. So it's so game dependent that I don't think the argument has any merit to begin with at all. There's zero merit to the argument, so I don't really have an answer.
I'm going to award you 10 blood boners so that you can point 5 in both directions.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody can touch all the tips.
We can all touch our tips.
All right. Congratulations.
This is a weird scoring system.
Everybody wins, though. It's so great.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. I agree with just about everything that's been said here so far. How do you add difficulty to something that you can't quantify necessarily based on the genre that you're talking about? This particular article was written around Blood Boner, and which can easily be kind of assimilated into the Dark Souls kind of I don't know, paradigm or whatever the fuck you want to call it. My thing is this: like, if you do not like a game that teaches you to play by death, and you want it to be easier, then you're playing the wrong game. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't play these games or they shouldn't necessarily be accessible to you. Should there be a difficulty setting? Maybe. But how do you gauge that? Like, what does that mean? Like, I only roll 36 times instead of 48 at a boss fight to hit this giant cow monster from behind. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's almost
from behind.
It's almost it's an unquantifiable question. So I think there are games that deserve it. I think there are games that don't.
Cool. So your answer is no.
The answer is maybe.
Oh.
I don't feel strongly one way
or the other. Exactly.
Davis, you get to award our host points since you're the guest. So it does not have to be blood boner quantities. It could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
Interesting. I give you 5 raging blood boners. Use them wisely.
They only count as half boners, so
they sound veiny and angry. That's what they sound.
Or another option is 20 vaginas so that we have something to do with our play.
Oh shit!
Or other tips, because no. All right.
Anyway.
Next. Landing around topic. We're gonna talk about a recent CNET article posted that came with very little information in the body, but a video that was like kind of like, hey, we're gonna write an article about a YouTube video, I guess. But researchers have finally labeled, scientifically speaking, I guess, the traits that make up a internet troll, and they are labeled as dark traits such as narcissism, psychopathy, and sadism. And these are identified in 5.6% of the self-identifying users who call themselves trolls. So this demographic is actually probably larger.
Much larger.
Much larger. There's just smart people that like don't label themselves as trolls. Some of this all seems pretty obvious to me, but I think we can all attest to witnessing trolls or seeing some of the more extreme examples and what that can, the havoc that can wreak, so to speak. But that being said, do we stop trolls? Is there ever a point where like being a troll is kind of an art where like you kind of correct a person in such a like devastatingly appropriate way that like you're kind of like, that actually made me sit back and think a little bit, that kind of thing? Or is it just a necessary evil, or is there a way to get around it, or does it become that Jay and Silent Bob thing where you just show up at everybody's door with a giant script in your hands with all the usernames from the forums that you visited and punch people in the face, because they talk shit about your dumb movie? You know what I mean? I'm gonna give it to Arroyo to start.
What?
Do you really want it?
You'll get a minute.
Go ahead.
We'll give you the last minute.
All right.
I don't
because it'll be great. I'm sure. Nick talking about narcissism. How could that not be great?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions I have, and you kind of started to answer it, was the idea of being a self-identifying troll. I don't understand that idea. What if I'm a narcissistic psychopath? What if? Okay, what if, guys? Then how would I really know that that's what I am? I mean, if I think I'm fucking great, like maybe I think I'm great, and maybe I want to also, let other people know they're not great. Does that make me a troll, or does that make me a psychopath? Because a troll to me is somebody who is like specifically just trying to fuck with people for fun, or like as a pastime or something, and then the internet just grants you the anonymity to do so with all freedom in the world, and like you're like, yay, this is fun. I had nothing to do this Saturday, now I have something to do because these people I'm getting a rise out of idiots. So I don't really necessarily equate it to that kind of like narcissistic personality in a sense, unless it carries over outside of being a troll. Like if your everyday life is like that, which the article touched on, then it's a whole different thing, because then you're just an asshole everywhere, not behind the screen of the internet. So that's kind of how I picture it.
The internet screen.
I'm going to give you...
Yeah, the screen of the internet. It's a screen.
I guess, is it thumbs up for YouTube comments?
Children's tears.
What do trolls like?
Children's tears?
Children's tears.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you half a bucket full of children's tears.
I like strangers' tears. I don't judge by age.
No,
it's just
children's-
whoever I can offend.
No, it's
Give me a-
children's tears are more valuable though. It's a higher current.
There's a purity value.
Yeah.
There's a purity value there.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's true.
More metachlorians.
You get half a bucket.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Of what?
I don't know.
Children's tears?
How big is
of
the
tears.
bucket?
Of tears.
You didn't even what's the bucket's volume?
He just cuts the bucket in half. And
No, I
Just
think-
imagine a bucket in your head.
Yeah, it's a bucket.
And then imagine it half full, and that's how many you get.
Oh, because I took Minecraft courses in middle school, and I learned volume awareness from Nick Golish.
A bucket in Minecraft is about a meter by a meter.
Okay. Or exactly, right? Because
You have half a square meter
All right.
of children's tears.
It's
in a
because when you
bucket.
pick up water with a bucket in Minecraft, you put it down, it takes up 1 meter. So yeah.
So I have a meter. I have 1 meter of children.
No, a cubic
A
meter.
cubic
cubic meter.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That's a lot.
Golish. That's a lot of
How many
crying.
kids grow up?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 orphanages.
Wait, say Golish.
3 orphanages.
Make Golish suffer. Don't let him go yet.
I know. Oh,
Oh.
all right. Well, I guess I'll take the next minute. I'm gonna think about this for a second. You let the clock run.
Oh, can I go?
no.
It's not even that funny. Okay, so
Okay.
can I do this one with you, Joe?
A shared
All
minute.
right, so why do they call it an Xbox 360?
Because it's red ring of death circle.
Because when you see it, you turn 360 degrees around and walk away.
But you walk towards it if you. Turn
Oh my God! You just fell for the troll. What?
What do you mean?
No, that's the troll.
That's like a legit internet troll.
that we use that all
Really?
the time.
Yeah. That was the
I've
thing?
used that multiple times, like against people. Just
It's
in-
a thing to see how many people are like, that's 180 degrees, dumbass, and you're like, but you're caring enough to correct me on what's right and wrong.
So I'm that guy now.
no, you're the idiot.
Okay.
You're the guy
Good.
that responded. No, you had the correct response, except for you weren't supposed to respond.
I was being literal.
You were not supposed to respond to me.
Okay.
That's
Oh, that's the
You're
way
not
to do
supposed to engage. That's what the article
that's
told
what,
you. It's just-
okay. That's how trolling works. So the whole article eventually boiled down to me was like, hey, you guys don't participate. Just ignore the trolls. Like, seriously, you guys it took you this long to figure this out? Like,
Is there a bully at school?
We had to get scientists to tell us how to deal with trolls.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
pretty much.
Like what's? Come on.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna.
Scientifically, they must.
Not
be
only did you make
narcissists.
me look like an idiot, but you made me smarter about the entire trolling, phenomenon. So, I will award you the top half of a bucket of tears
The top.
of a
Minecraft bucket?
a cubic meter.
Okay.
The top half.
Wait, is it the top half of a half full bucket of tears?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
yes,
confused. So
yes.
you got an
Oh,
empty
good,
bucket of
good.
tears,
So no, he has the top half of the bucket that you're trying to fill.
which is half full, so he
Right.
doesn't really have any tears.
He's got the other half.
He's got the top half.
Yeah.
But mine's only half full.
But what
So
about
his is half full, too.
where's the bottom half?
Joe has it.
But he only
It's
has one
bottomless.
bucket.
It can go as far as you want.
Guys.
So he has.
I'm a pessimist. How empty is the bucket?
So
Who's the real idiot here now is what I really want to know. Who's the real fucking idiot?
you
guys?
trolling who
Do you
now?
understand that we're trolling you still?
I feel like you guys I fell into your trap and
Yeah.
now I'm not even trying to make a trap, but somehow we've created one and you're falling into it.
No,
I'm just the first time I've ever experienced cyclical trolling.
No, I'm just.
It's weird. It's really
I'm just
weird.
confused. If I have the top half and Joe has the bottom half, and he has the top half of some other bucket, where's that bottom half?
Okay, next minute goes to Dave.
To our guests to round it all out. Mr. Standley, give us a minute on the science of trolls.
Oh, jeez. For me, I just remember when I was like I was like 15, and I think it's the only time I've ever met what I would consider like a full out, legit, crazy psychopath troll. I was at a summer camp, and it was just nerdy. It was a gaming summer camp. We were like making little shitty video games and stuff. It was cool. It was not at Digipen. Sorry, Digipen. But there was this one guy he was a cool guy. I'm gonna call him Jim. And Jim loved to pick on Ronnie. Ronnie had lots of things you could pick on him about. So other people kind of joined in. So I thought it was just kind of like a group thing. And then one day I'm like, yo, Jim, why you got to pick on Ronnie like that? You know, he's almost crying. Like, this is kind of screwed up. And he's like, he turns to me with like the blankest expression. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't reason with this person. Oh, it freaked me out. So when I think of like internet trolls and I see those comments, I just think of someone with really dead eyes on the other side of the screen, like, why? I wonder how subject 57 will respond. And then I'm just like, get the fuck out! Everyone bail!
That was kind of like my point too. The inability to understand that
being
you're doing
a sociopath.
wrong. I think that's a difference. Yeah, that's the difference.
Exactly.
And that's why I didn't think this thing was like a troll has these traits. It's like, what? A troll is being a troll because they know they're trying to fuck with you.
You know what they're doing.
Someone who's a sociopath doesn't quite understand right from wrong or things like that. It's, you know,
Mr. Standley, I'm gonna award you an entire bucket full of Jim and what was the other guy's name? The fake name that you made up?
Ronnie.
A perfect martini concoction of their tears inside this bucket for you, sir.
Salty.
For your final minute.
Who knew Jim could cry?
Fuck you, Ronnie. Fuck
no,
you.
it's Jim.
Or whatever.
Jim. Dude, don't pick on Ronnie. Everyone's picking on Ronnie. It was a group thing. Were you not listening?
Well, he has to cry so that Jim can cry.
Right.
It's necessary.
The ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem.
Right. They became friends again. They had a good cry.
Right.
They worked
it out.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And now they're making games at the Imaginarium Studios.
There's a part of me that
circus. It's fun.
Yeah. There was a part of me, Davis, that really hoped that when you said I'm gonna call him Jim, that his name was actually Jim, and you were just like not doing it at all.
Just like a lazy obfuscation.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I've got this friend. I'm gonna call him Joe Erskine.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not sitting at this table, but he's sitting at this table.
So we got this guy Arroyo.
Yeah.
All right, we've come to the end here. I think 81st episode, really.
87. Jeez.
80, well, I was thinking 83rd technically, but that's a story for another time. It's episode 81 in the books. Davis, thank you again, sir, for being here with us, taking the time and hanging out, having a beer, and chatting along to the.
Thank you guys. It was a lot of fun to hang out.
No, it's good to hear from you, and congratulations with all the work at Respawn. We're looking forward to Python Paul 2, and
Python Paul.
Say hi to our good buddy Mr. Griffin Brennan Dean.
We've got a little DigiPen cabal down there. I think there are like 6 or 7 graduates who actually work there.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Maybe we should do a group episode at some point in the future, but when you guys release the game,
we'll pick on Ronnie together.
Yeah, we'll all pick on Ronnie. It'll be fun. It'll be great.
Good.
Just blank eyes. Before you go, dear listener, we love you and thank you for being here. Make sure you hit us up, Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. Let us know what you think, because we're always curious to hear about it.
Also, Davis, can you let people know where they can hit you up on Twitter or other? What's your social media preference, and where can they stalk you?
Oh God. Yeah, I have a Twitter. It exists. It's absurdist, except instead of an I, it's a Y, because I'm just, I was cool like that.
Nice.
No longer. So, if you can figure out how to spell it, if you can find me, your test is complete. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's a one-step ARG.
I will not follow you back.
Yeah. So you can find him there, and make sure you guys go check out Titanfall if you haven't, because not for nothing, killing bots in a FPS game is almost more fun than most FPS games these days, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Probably the best launch title for Xbox One by far, in my opinion. So, but we'll keep our eyes open for the stuff that you're working on. make sure, listeners, that you're hitting us up on the social medias.
Also, tell us about your favorite rage
jump
quit.
on and let us know how you rage quit your most horror game or your favorite, because I guarantee if it bothers you that much, you kind of love it, right? If you love that game that much, like, you have to kind of love the things you rage quit, right?
I'm willing to expand the rage quit to anything. Did you rage quit a job?
Sure.
Yeah,
there you go.
Did you rage quit a living situation?
Right. We will not discriminate your rage quit story.
Were your shoes stolen at the Final Fantasy VII house and you had to?
That fucking Vice article, dude.
Anyway, we'll talk about it.
We're definitely telling our community to relate to things in our topics. We definitely tell them to troll our community manager because he's really good at handling that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, he likes trolls. If you can,
Azareki on Twitter.
If you know how to troll,
AZEREKI.
definitely try it because he's pretty good at catching it. But
yeah, let's give him a little test.
It's
if you make a Twitter handle that's at Ronnie.
Right.
And get the rights to it. Well, use a Y instead
of an I,
like Absurdist does. Yeah. Woo! All right. Anyway, episode 81 in the books. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Davis, once again. Stay tuned for a new episode coming next week. And again, just a reminder, we got huge shit coming in the next few weeks and months. Real big stuff. All sorts of new content. And I don't know. It's fucking exciting. It's really exciting. I have like a blood boner thinking about it.
I have 5.
In the
10?
I have 10. Yeah, 10, I think. In the meantime, let's go play some mailbox baseball with Kiefer Sutherland. All right. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheat Codes Podcast signing off. Love you.